In this video, let's talk about some new virtual production features inside Lightcraft Jetset Cine app. Real quick, you're watching VP Land. Special thanks to our sponsors for helping make these videos possible, Blackmagic and Atomos. And now, back to the video. All right, what's up? I'm here with Eliot. Eliot, good to see you from NAB.
Yeah.
What do we got going on?
Okay.
New updates.
Between NAB and now, we have a breakthrough in tracking refinement. In real time, the jet set tracking is good, but it's not a sub-pixel level track. And almost no real-time system can do a sub-pixel level track. I mean, really, maybe outside of laboratory conditions, maybe. But in truth, it's the optics of how you mount a sensor onto a camera, and as you get further away from the camera, it's not gonna be sub-pixel, it's just not. So what you want is something that can start with your real-time onset data and then refine it very, very quickly. That's what we built in between then and now. So this is exciting. So from a cold start, we built, AutoShot is our automated post-production system, and it lets us take our onset data and put it into post-production applications. In this case, SynthEyes. So we ran a script, we loaded the shot, and we're gonna go through a few things that bring in the data, right? So we're gonna show the mesh. This is the onset mesh that we scanned in Jetset.
This is coming from our iPhone that we have mounted on the camera,
Yes.
and then this would be our actual
That's
cinema footage from whatever camera.
Yep,
That's
the actual EXR plates from, in this case, the Sony FX3.
Okay.
And it's correctly matched. Now, what we're gonna do here is there's a couple things we're gonna do that are kind of magical. One was we're gonna add an alpha channel to the map. This is generated from our AI Roto system. And it's built into the system that we can do automatic AI Roto on shots. And this is useful for lots of things. It's crazy useful for tracking. And you hear no one talk about this.
How is it able to know what it's got to track, that it's got to track the guide?
Well, so we're loading in this, and we're doing some fussing here, setting up the UI so that when you hit this is an automatically generated roto mat. No one had to sit there and mat this out. AutoShot, generated this as a process on the sequence of images.
But I guess I'm saying, how did it know, like, it's track this guy? Did you do some marking, or
No.
was it because he was in focus? It just knows, or does it know that that's the subject?
It's an AI roto system. It looks for human segmentation.
Okay.
And you basically cut the people
So it's
out.
like human body shape,
Yep.
cut it out. Okay, got it.
So now and that tells us where to put the 2D points, right? So I just hit the 2D point tracker, and here's our 2D points, automatically detected, which part of it. And this is kind of standard SynthEyes stuff. But now there's a key thing here. I'm gonna grab hold of those 2D points. Those are not in 3D space yet. It doesn't know where they are in 3D. They just found a couple of good tracking points. Okay, now we're gonna go here, and after we select them, we're gonna go up to the track, and we're gonna drop onto mesh. Boom. Those 2D points have just been dropped onto the onset scanned mesh. So each one of those is now, we know where it is in 3D space. That is transformative. Like it's this crazy nerdy thing, but now we're basically doing survey level tracking. And traditionally, survey level tracking is what you have on a $150 million motion picture, where you have a bunch of guys with like a total station and a theodolite go around and going beep, beep, measuring spots on the wall, and then a whole team that brings it into post. Boom, we're doing this, right? And with Jetset, and automatically, right? So we did that, hit track and refined it a couple times. Now we have a sub-pixel solve of a full-on 3D camera motion track in 2 minutes.
All right, and explain to me, so what would the comparison have been to do this before you're able to do this quickly and automatically now?
So before, you had the real-time track, but you didn't have a good way to get it into post-production. And if you did a straight post-production track, you have no information. The math of trying to solve a shot from just pure camera motion is really finicky. It's really tricky. And if you open up the hood of any visual effects company, the tracking is almost always the bottleneck, especially if you're in episodic television or if you're kind of low budget stuff. Because you can have a bad shot show up in the tracking department and it wipes out the guys.
Sorry, you said this was also the key point, because we can get the feet to match, right? This was the...
Yeah, because we're pulling this data from Jetset on set. We have the scan to mesh that represents the 3D world, projecting those points onto that, generating...
To get the foot placement on the screen, on the green floor, or wherever we're filming.
That means we can lock it in. That means your feet are not going, which is otherwise a huge problem in visual effects. And solving that problem can cost a person a day. A good tracker can spend a day easily trying to fix a rough shot. And so now we're down to like 2 minutes.
We're able to get the data straight out of the phone.
Yeah.
That is tracking. All right, that's awesome. And I'm guessing Jetset Cine Pro?
Jetset Cine, the version that can, both the Jetset Pro can scan, and that's the one that shoots inside the iPhone, that's $20 a month. And then Jetset Cine is the one that hooks up to Cine Optics, and that's $80 a month, and they both can scan. They can both generate a 3D model of the set. usually people are more that care more about sub-pixel tracking when they're shooting a cine camera than with the iPhone. But you could.
Okay.
But it's like a gory detail, but this is actually the bridge between being able to do a couple of shots for a small group to be able to do a couple of shots versus like 50.
Mhm.
Tracking is the thing that where
Like
people melt
a whole
down.
scene in a virtual space.
Yeah, and if you have a sequence of 50 shots, you're trying to tell a story, and you have to do it fast, right? If you have spend a day per shot, okay, that's feature film kind of timing. Episodic timing is 300 shots every 2 weeks, right? That's it's a different thing. But this means a tiny team, you could have one person track the shots for a show with complex camera work, operating, you can go all Spielberg on this, steady cam work and you're chasing people around because we're
Rack
automatically,
focus, yeah.
And we automatically detect the people so they're not having to sit there and roto,
Right.
hand roto every shot to mask out the people.
Yeah, and that's the great application of like useful stuff for AI, where it's like don't have to spend time rotoscoping.
It's a slam dunk, right? This is because this would take just to get that roto shape. Artist's going to spend 2 hours just doing that hand by hand because he's walking. Let alone if there's 3 people walking around the scene, and this will handle 3 people automatically, no problem.
Awesome.
That way we just put the track points, and it's SynthEyes is by itself is pretty gnarly, going into it from a cold start. But with this, everybody we show this goes, wait a second, I can do that. That doesn't look so hard, and it's because we basically fed it all the information that otherwise it doesn't have. At the core of it, SynthEyes is a solver that computes a minimum reprojection error, and normally to get that is a bunch of craziness and handwork, right? To get it to all work. But if you feed it all the information up front, you're down to like from 40 variables to like 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got this, But this, I've not seen anyone else in virtual production talk about this. This is where the wheels come off the cart, and we finally solved it. So I'm pretty happy about that.
That's an awesome update.
Yeah.
That's great.
Been quite a 6 weeks.
Well, thanks for the update, Elliot. Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
And that's it for this video. Be sure to check out the rest of our Cine Gear coverage over here and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.